Good morning, student. Today we will take first chapter of our first flight, that is a letter to God. I have already provided you the reading materials. Now I am going to explain this chapter. These are the difficult words which you would find in the chapter, and you have to search the meaning of these difficult words. Okay, I'll just give you the summary of this a letter to God. As the title indicates, it's a little bit ironical title, that is a letter to God. Means you may be thinking about that how a letter can be written to God. This is what is ironical in this chapter, but the chapter is basically about the faith of a man on God. He has a strong belief. He is a firm believer on God, and he believes that there is a God, and that beliefs makes his life successful. And now I'll just give you the summary of this chapter. There are three characters in this chapter. One is Lencho, the other one is Postman, and the other one is third one is Postmaster. Lencho is the main character in this chapter. He is a farmer. Okay, the story is written by J.L. Fluents. This is a story about the great faith of a simpleton in the God. The story begins with Lencho hoping for rain so that his crops would give a better yield. The rain does come, but is followed by a devastating hailstorm. Hailstorm destroys all the standing crops and leaves Lencho staring into bleak future ahead. But Lencho is a strong believer in the God and decides to write a letter to the God, asking for some monetary help. Lencho also wishes to repay the debt when the next crop would give him enough money. After seeing Lencho's letter, the postmaster is deeply touched by the strong faith of Lencho in the God. The postmaster collects money from his colleagues and sends some money to Lencho. Lencho has asked for 100 pesos, but he gives only 7. He was able to collect only 70 pesos. But the money sent by the postmaster is less than what the Lencho had demanded through his letter. Lencho once again writes a letter to the God in which he expresses his doubts about the honesty of office employees. So this was a short summary which I gave you. Now I'll tell you about the description of the story. The story begins with the description of Lencho's house and his family. He has his house and 2 children. He was a farmer, and he was sure that his fields would give him a good harvest. But only one thing was required for good harvesting, that is rainfall. Lencho was waiting for a heavy rainfall or just a shower in his cornfields, and he was seeing that his fields were ready, his cornfields were ready, they were ready with white flowers. He predicted to his wife that today I think the rainfall will occur, and his wife assured him by telling that's God's willing. Means if God is going to will, then only we will get rainfall. Okay, he was sitting on his house and he was just looking at the cloud from northeast. He went outside and he saw that there were huge clouds from northeast. He went outside just to have the pleasure of feeling of the rain on his body. And suddenly the rain starts. The raindrops that were coming, Lencho has compared those raindrops with the coins. Why he has compared with the coins? Because they were going to give him benefit. It was just like a golden coin. It was just like a coin for him from which he was going to be benefited. And slowly, just looking at the raindrops, which were just like coins, the raindrops were immediately converted into a strong wind. And along with the strong wind, along with the heavy downpour, the hailstones started. And he became nervous, he became terrified, because he knew that the hailstorms are going to destroy his field. And same thing happened. Hailstones destroyed his field. Trees were left leafless. Corns were totally destroyed. Everything has deteriorated. Nothing was left in his field, and he became very sad. And Lencho says a plague of locusts will have left more than this. Very important line told by Lencho. And he says that the locust is a type of insect, and he says that Even the destruction that this hailstone has made, a locust could not have done so much of destruction as this hailstone has done in my field. He was filled with sadness, but then there was a hope in his mind. Still, if everything is devastated, then also he was having a hope in his mind. That is, what was that hope? That hope was a letter to God. He decided that I will write a complaint letter to God and I will ask God to give me some money so that I could run my livelihood. And he wrote a letter to the God. In that letter, he asked for 100 pesos for growing some crops and for fulfilling his daily needs. Scene second, we will discuss in the next video.